All right, so I'm currently on page 334 and the book ends on 370 if I'm not mistaken. So I am going to finish the last few pages and then we're going to dive into my book review on None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. So going into this book, I definitely thought it more to be a psychological thriller. That's kind of how it was recommended to me. But honestly, reading through it, I'm getting more like true crime mystery. And I think that was perfect for this book. I think if it were definitely showcased as a thriller, it would not have provided what I think it needed to. But I love the book. I cannot wait to bring this review to you guys and just let you know my general thoughts. I think it's so nice when someone recommends a book and it's exactly what you hoped it to be and even more. And I can definitely say None of This Is True was that book for me. It was left on a little bit of a cliffhanger. It definitely had some ambiguity to it, but I think it still was such a satisfying ending. And I'll be sure to let you know the two things that I definitely wished possibly had a little bit more in-depth, discussion within the book. But even still, I think the book was amazing and it was great. I'm really glad I was able to read it this reading month, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about it. So I will catch up with you in just a moment. Alright, so I'm back and I cannot believe I'm saying it, but I have just finished None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, and I want to tell you about it. So just to give you a little background about the book, if you have not read it or heard of it or anything, I'll be sure to link it down below so that you guys can grab a copy if you want. I do know that the hardcover, I believe, is the only version of this book out, and I was able to snag mine at Second and Charles for really cheap. So you might want to look there if you don't want to pay like the full $30 price for it, like at Barnes & Noble. But I believe that the paperback will be coming out next year in August because this was released in August. So you do have to wait for that. There might even be an audiobook on Audible if you want, but I definitely think reading it will just get you more invested, in my opinion, just based on what the book is about. But just to give you a little general summary, we have two main characters, you can say, in this book. So we have Alex Summer and Josie Flair. Alex Summer is a podcaster. She is a 45-year-old woman with a husband and 2 kids, and she lives this kind of lavish life. She has 2 sisters. She has a beautiful home. She's kind of that picturesque mom that you see on Instagram who has the super nice house and all the cute birthday parties, and everyone knows her. You know what I mean? She's in the now. She has all the fancy clothes and she's promoting things. She's definitely that kind of mom. And then you have Josie Flair, who is also 35, who has 2 adult children and an older husband. And her life is not what she wants it. She really wants the life that Alex has it in a way. She got married really young. She has 2 older children with a lot of mental health issues and anger problems. She's very distant from her husband, and she's living a life that she doesn't feel like she should be living. And so the book kind of starts out where both of these women are turning 45 and they meet on their birthday at the same exact restaurant at the same exact time celebrating. And they're kind of like, hey, we're birthday twins. And that kind of spirals into both of them kind of coming back together at different points and deciding to make a podcast together, because Alex Summer is a podcaster and she interviews women who are just going through life or who have gone through very difficult things, and now they're sharing their stories of how they got through it and where they're at now. And Josie, although she doesn't feel like her life at that point when she met Alex was where she wanted it, but she knew it was going to get where she wanted it. So she wanted Alex to kind of do it backwards. How about you interview me and I'll tell you my life, and then you can watch how it unfolds and it's going to get to where I want it. So it intrigued Alex, although she was leery, and she went along with it. But Josie had a lot of dark secrets with her family. There's a lot of issues with her children, things that they've done, even just the relationship with her husband, who actually she met when she was 15 years old and then ended up running away with him at age 16 and then got married by 18. He was a married man, and you slowly begin to realize that he had even more baggage that they were kind of leading you to believe in the beginning. And so you're thinking, okay, she was with this really inappropriate man who is just gross, and now she's with him now, and he's a lot older than her. And then in the midst of it, they had 2 children together who grew up with severe developmental and mental issues. And so now you see one of her daughters, Roxy, runs away from the house and has severe anger issues. And then Erin, she's a recluse in a room and is a gamer. And so Josie is living this life that she doesn't feel is her own. Her mom didn't want her. her mom didn't care about her, and she's just expressing all of these things, how she met Walter, her husband, and how that all unfolded, the relationship she has with her mother, just little tidbits about her children, her job, her life, what she's always wanted, where she wants to see herself. And Alex really gets intrigued, but in the back of her mind, she's worried and she's leery. Well, slowly but surely, you start noticing the more Josie is interacting with Alex and doing the podcast, Josie starts to pick on some marital issues that Alex and her husband Nathan are having, as well as Alex and Nathan are noticing things around their house being stolen. And so they always think that maybe it's the children. They don't get it until one time there's something that's taken that's done in front of the ring alarm that they have outside their house, and they notice it to be Josie. But Alex feels too invested. She feels like she's got too much to lose at this point. She senses something is wrong, but she's willing to take the risk. She knows that if she continues the podcast, something might go wrong, but she kind of just goes along with it. I feel like your imagination and the things that intrigue you kind of can lead you to a very detrimental place, but you still do it because you're so curious about it. Well, things kind of unfold, and there's something that goes on into the house of Josie after she meets with dinner at Alex and Nathan's house with her husband Walter, and she ends up coming back to the house completely distraught, saying that she's been battered by her husband and she needs a place to stay. So she kind of shelters in place at Alex's house for a week. But during that time, Nathan becomes really leery of her. The kids do. Alex starts to fear for what she's done. She's let this woman into her house. How about we call the police? Josie is against it. And then the book kind of takes you into something that you kind of didn't expect, something happening to Alex's husband. And you kind of get a glimpse of that in the prologue, I believe, or the first chapter of this book. Or that is it? Let me see. Is it called the prologue? Yeah, the prologue in the first part of the book, you kind of get a little bit of like an insight that something is going wrong with Nathan, Alex's husband. And it kind of throws you for a loop. You're trying to figure out, why would Josie do something like this? Why didn't Alex see it? Why didn't she shop while she had the chance? What is Josie doing? And so you go through the end of the book where you see the kind of aftermath that Josie's life portrayed into Alex's life. Because when you read the synopsis, it talks about how she becomes the victim of her own podcast. Like she does a lot of true crime. She's really into that, and she really becomes the victim of it. And then you slowly realize like what Josie did in her mind was protecting Alex from something she felt Alex wasn't aware of, while as trying to also get out of things that are in her life that she felt like she couldn't escape from without Alex. And so it was just a very interesting thing. There are parts where you felt for Josie, you felt sorry for her, parts where you were terrified of her and you were on the edge of your seat. And there were parts where you felt like Alex, you felt sorry for her, then you felt really naive, like, why are you doing this? Aren't you aware? You're a mother, you have so much at stake. And so you're following these two women navigating with feeling many different things, and then you see how their lives intertwine in a way that caused detriment to the both of them. And what I really like about it is that it says none of this is true. And when you get to the last literal maybe like 2 chapters, not really like chapters, more or less just like podcast days, but when you get to those last 2, like maybe last 5 of those, you realize that although you read it and there was one story told, and then towards the end of the interviews between Josie and Alex, you start to learn that things are different when like Walter gets interviewed and Josie's children gets interviewed, and then people in the community do. So then you start thinking Josie's lying, but then towards the end of the book, you're thinking, were there parts of her story that she lied about because she was trying to protect someone? Are there people who interviewed in the community, or her daughters or her husband, that were actually lying? And so you're kind of left on a cliffhanger. But I definitely feel that although you're left on a cliffhanger in this book, you definitely were left feeling satisfied. And so with that being said, I do give this book a 5-star. I highly recommend it. I think it was really nice. I definitely do not sense in any way, shape, or form that it was any psychological thriller in this book. It was definitely more like true crime, murder, mystery. I would say it was definitely a book I didn't want to put down. It really got me invested. I was really interested. I think the way Lisa wrote was beautiful. I absolutely love the fact that there were those podcast entries within each chapter. So you kind of felt like you were looking at 2 different stories happening at once. The like present and then like the past in a way. And so I really love that. I think the way that she wrote each character was very nice. And I think she portrayed them exactly as how you think someone would be portrayed if they were going through those different things in their lives. So yeah, I think it was overall a really good book. I think you would like it if you're a person who loves mystery, you love true crime, you like things that are very women focused, maybe very feminist, if you're into things like that, then I think you would like this book because it is really driven by women. It's written by a woman. And so I think that is really nice as well. But no, this was a really good book. I'm glad to say I read it. And I'm glad that I didn't wait until next year to get the paperback. I'm glad that I was able to find the hardcover because I don't know, something about it just made me like it a little bit more. I don't know. But yeah, there's nothing in the book where I felt like, oh, it would have been nice if Lisa wrote it like this. It would have been nice if this character did this. I can definitely say I wish how it unfolded with Alex's husband, Nathan, I wish it had not unfolded in that way. I think that would have been nice to not maybe see it go that way. But I feel as though, you know, it worked and it made the story. I can definitely also say with Alex's son, Leon, I think I would want a little bit more information on what and why Josie was a little bit fixated on him, because as you'll see at the end of the book, there were some things that Josie, like I said, had stolen from their family, and one of them was tied closely to Leon, but I don't really remember in the book except for one time, and specifically when she was getting ready to leave their home, when she had stayed there during that time, that she mentioned him. And so I want to know why he held such a special place in her heart, which she mentions at the end of the book. And so I think that would have been nice to get a little bit more depth on that, and possibly maybe a little bit more depth on Aaron and Roxy, Josie's older children, and to see like more of their story and where they're at now. You kind of get a vague little bit on that, but I think it was good and I recommend it. 5 stars. So I'll link it down below for you guys. And I'm super excited because I'm going to be starting the next book for this month. I did start the Cruel Prince audiobook for this month. I decided not to read it because the audiobook is just chef's literal kiss. It reminds me so much, the narrator at least reminds me so much of the narrator who read Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. I love that book. I think I even bought the audiobook again because I returned it because I was going to get the physical copy, but I bought the audiobook again and I plan on listening to it again. That was so good. I cannot recommend that enough. I'll honestly link that down below for you guys as well. That was a great book, a book's about books. It was just so good. I don't know. I think the narrator did amazing. And so this narrator who reads this one very much reads similarly, and I think that's why I like it so much, but I'm really enjoying it. It's really good, and I'm glad that I decided to audiobook this and not physically read it, so I'm going to continue on that. But if you guys have not seen the shorts that I recently posted, I'll be sure to link it at the end of the video. I needed a little help to pick the next book that I'm going to be reading this month, and I didn't know which one I wanted to do. I have a couple on my list that I haven't even gotten to yet, which hopefully by the end of the month I'll get to, but I decided that these are the 2 I wanted to get into next. And so I did have you guys give me some feedback on my Instagram and on YouTube Shorts. And it was kind of tied. Either you said The Housemaid, then some of you said Behind Closed Doors. And so what I did was I decided to read the first chapter of both, and I'm hooked, and I plan on reading them both at the same time. 2 chapters, 2 chapters, 2 chapters, 2 chapters, so on and so forth until I finish them. And so I think that'll be really fun. Be on the lookout for a video coming for that quite soon for you guys. Yeah, that's going to conclude today's book review on This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I gave it 5 stars and I'll link it down below. I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and welcome to all the new subscribers that I have. I think there's 813 of you guys. We're nearly at 1,000. I'm so excited. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe how far the channel has gone, and thank you for all the comments and love on the shorts that I've been getting. I love responding to you guys. Please make sure that you comment on these videos too. I will love to respond and talk to you. Follow me on my Instagram, the handle up here on the screen, and I'll have it linked down below for you guys as well. And let's just talk about books and have a good time. It makes me so happy to engage with you guys and to see what you're reading and your reviews on books and what you recommend for me and vice versa. It just makes me so happy because I am so passionate about this and just reading. I'm not the quickest reader. I don't read maybe the most trendy of books, but I read things that bring me joy, and I hope that you do the same. And do not forget to give the video a thumbs up and hit your notification bell. Then you can be notified every single time I post a video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and join the Bookish fam because we're so nice. We have so much fun together. And then don't forget to share the video. If you know anyone who's interested in any of the books that I like to read, or if you know someone who would resonate with my type of personality and content, then share this along because it helps me out so much, and then it lets me know that you guys are really interested. And if you watch the video and you're not subscribed, please subscribe because I would love you to stay and chat and have some fun with me. But without further ado, I will catch you guys all in my very next one.